So, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 11th of March, and I'm here with Cheryl, and I'm on my way down to the surgeon for the pre-operative meeting. And Cheryl's worked with me on creating a list of questions for him. In a minute, I'm going to have Cheryl read it, but I want to tell you how important I think it is when you're having a procedure done that's serious, and any surgery is serious, that you take a friend with you that you trust, a smart friend that you trust. I don't care if you're a doctor. It doesn't matter, because you will be blind to some things because this is so personal. And a second set of eyes and someone to say, hey, wait a minute, what about this? And having someone that might remember stuff that you don't remember, I think is absolutely critical. So I highly recommend that you do this. Now, today's video is going to be the first in a long series of hip replacement surgery and recovery that I'm going to do. The next video you see in this series will be the day of surgery, where my other friend Barb drives me down there, and she's going to stay with me through the surgery and take me home. And so anyway, Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning.
And you have the list of questions, right?
I do. You want me to read them?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Question number 1. What specific materials will be used in my hip transplant? Question number 2. What is the estimated lifespan of the hip replacement? Question number 3. What medications will I need to take before and after surgery? Question number 4. Are there specific medications or supplements I should stop prior to the surgery? Question number 5. My latest thrombin time, international racial, the results were 1.14 as of 2/26. Is this within the ideal range for surgery?
I'm thinking it isn't. That's why I brought up that lab value, because that low value means my blood is more likely to clot.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hoping for is it says, yeah, we're going to have you on either a baby aspirin or a formal blood thinner or something like that. That's what I'm looking for there.
And normally they don't prescribe that till after they start it after surgery.
Right. You certainly don't want a blood
thinner before. Yeah, correct. Okay, then question number 6. What symptoms should I expect immediately following surgery and during recovery?
Yeah, I want to know what's expected and what's unexpected, and could be, I think that's the next question, right?
Question number 7. Which specific post-surgical symptoms would you consider urgent or imminent, requiring immediate medical attention?
Yeah, so if they say, hey, it's normal to, when your leg is inflamed and it swells, to have a little bit of a fever, don't worry about that. Or they might say, for all I know, if you have a fever, that's a problem. That's an infection. You need to call us. You need to do something. Or if you have trouble breathing, which would be the sign of a pulmonary embolism. I just want to know what are those things that I should watch out for, so I don't needlessly panic, because I'm going to be experiencing, I think, symptoms and pain I've never experienced before, right?
Well, yeah, but you know what? Your pain may be even less than what you're experiencing now, because you have quite a bit of pain in your hip. Question number 8 is, how much movement or physical activity is recommended right after surgery?
Right. He's big on no physical therapist. He doesn't want me anywhere near a physical therapist. All he wants me doing, and I want him to reiterate this, is getting up and walking just a little bit. And it's in the first few days, didn't he say you do nothing?
Right.
You were there for that,
right? He said just normal activity. Like, moving around in your travel trailer. You can get up and down, go to the restroom or whatever, but, no nothing strenuous for a few days.
Right.
Okay, then number 9. Oh, wait, I just read number 9. Okay, great. No, number 9. What activities or movements should I specifically avoid, and for how long? Okay, then question number 10. Who should I contact if I have immediate concerns or complications after the procedure?
I'm thinking they'll have like a nurse or nurse practitioner available to answer questions.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And the last question is 11. When can I safely resume driving, and are there specific driving distance restrictions?
That's probably more, I mean, time restrictions. Like,
Yeah.
you can drive after 3 weeks, but I don't want you driving
500 miles.
five for 700 miles like what I want to do.
Yeah.
Now, if he says, I don't want you, he could, here's a guess, he'd say, I don't want you more than an hour without getting up and walking around and moving.
Right.
Which means it would take me, I'd have to stop every hour at a rest stop and move around, and it would take longer to get to New Mexico, which is I'm fine with.
Yeah. Or you can lay back here in the Yuma Quartzsite area for another week if you had to, couldn't you? Okay.
Yeah. The plan is on the 7th, I'm going to move out of La Posa South, out of where I parked, and I'll either be driving off on my own, or Cheryl's going to drive my rig to a RV park in Quartzsite and set it up and park it for me.
Yep.
And make all the connections and everything. So
that's something.
And then I'll just stay there until I feel strong enough. If I have to stay there a month, I stay there a month.
That's right. Your healing process and getting well is way more important than any travel you need to do right now. So most important thing is to recover well
So what are the surgeries that you've had, Cheryl, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind sharing. Well, I've had a few, not many. The biggest is I've had both of my knees replaced. I had my first one done in 2015, and then 8 weeks later, I had the other knee replaced. And so I can relate to joint replacement as far as Rob's hip goes. I understand all his concerns and all these questions. They might seem crazy to some people, but the better informed you are about what's going to happen to you and your course of recovery is extremely important. And then the only other surgery I really had, when I was younger, I had my tonsils out like everybody else. Then a couple years ago, they found a little growth on my parathyroid, and I had to have while you're on the road surgery, so I can relate to that.
I didn't realize that. So what did you find that was unique about having surgery done while on the road?
Well, I couldn't travel. I had to delay my plans to travel. I talked the surgeon into releasing me after 2 weeks. I did have to extend my stay. I was in Texas at an RV resort, and I had to...
When you say releasing from the hospital?
Release post-operative care.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. He wouldn't release me. He wanted me to stay in the area for a couple weeks after my surgery. So I had to postpone my travels and just rearrange my schedule, which sometimes these things happen to us. I mean, we're human, we're not robots, so sometimes these things happen, just like what's going on with our friend Sally. I'm sure she didn't plan on breaking her foot and being stuck and needing help from friends. This is real life. It really does happen. Things happen.
Yeah, the big consideration for me was, I have a place in Pahrump, I stay in New Mexico, I'm in lots of places. So the first question is, where does it make the most sense to get the surgery done?
Right? Yes.
And it started with the number one requirement was I got Medicare February 1st.
Right.
Prior to that, it would have cost me thousands of dollars, and so it wasn't on the table for me.
Yeah.
And the second consideration was, what support do I need, and what support is available? So it got to be, well, if I could, as soon as I could get it done before the end of the season at Quartzsite, the better. Now, what I was constrained by was February 1st being the start date. So the first appointment I could get, I thought I called 2 months ahead of time, and it took me I think it was close to 60 days to get a February appointment.
Wow.
I think wasn't it like the 11th of February?
Yes, something like that. Yes.
So it was 11 days after the insurance started. Right.
Yeah.
But then we found out, well, surgeries are scheduled out in May, which wouldn't have worked. But they said, we can accommodate you by putting you in where there's a cancellation. And that's what ended up happening. And the earliest cancellation was March 17th, which is about as late as it would have presented some problems. I probably could have gotten away with another week or two, because that would have made it totally necessary for you to bring me to an RV park in Quartzsite.
Yeah.
But anything past the end of March, I would have had to have said, well, I'm going to have to wait until fall.
Yeah. I mean, it's important when you're on the road and you're away from your family, and you have to have something major done. You really depend on your camp mates and your nomad friends that you've spent the entire winter with every year. And we've all are stepping up. Everybody is going to help Rob in some way. Barb's going to accompany him down here to Yuma for the day of surgery. I'm going to stay back in camp and take care of Dottie and George. And of course, all of us will do anything we can after that to help Rob until we know he's good enough to go on his own.
You know, other alternatives were, I could have gone to family. As a nomad, we shouldn't forget that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could have driven. My brother Frank in Idaho just had this surgery.
Yeah.
I think he's on day 14, so he had it 2 weeks ago. The exact same surgery, very successful. I could have driven up later in the season to Idaho, and then with Frank, and had the surgery done there at Sandpoint, just like he did.
Yeah, sure.
Or I could have gone to Ithaca, New York, where my two sisters and my older brother are, and had the surgery done probably in Syracuse.
Yeah. But if you can have it done where you are, and you have your nomad family, that's all the better. It saves you from having to travel, and you're certainly not inconveniencing anybody, because we spend every winter together. We have for the last 3 years.
The last thing I'm going to talk about before I end this is, end this part, I'll come back on and we'll share with you what the doctor said and what we found out, and what the answers were to our questions.
Yeah.
Is one of the things I double checked was to make sure that my air med service was paid up and was good.
Yeah.
That's for helicopter evacuation. I would guess if I had a serious pulmonary embolism at Quartzsite, I would be in a helicopter heading to Phoenix probably.
Pretty quickly. Yeah.
And if you don't have that insurance, even if you have the Cadillac Medicare and supplement like I do, they're not going to pay $50,000 or $60,000 or more for the helicopter transport.
Yeah.
You'll be stuck with a big part of that bill.
Yeah.
Most of it, and that could ruin you.
Yeah.
And I pay, I think, $79 a year for Air Med. Air Med Care, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And you go on their website and you put in a zip code of where you're going to be staying, and they say whether there's coverage there or not. So everywhere I'm going to be and everywhere I've been has coverage.
Oh,
So
that's good.
if they put me in a helicopter, I don't have to worry about getting even a dollar bill for it.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's really.
So if you're a nomad, I highly recommend you get that insurance. Not just because you're having surgery, but as we age, critical things can happen. And if you're a nomad, guess where we are? We're in remote part. We're far from big hospitals.
Right. That's right.
All right. Well, we'll see you after we see the doctor. All right. Well, lots happened. My appointment was at 11 a.m. and it's 11:09. And a lot's happened. You're just like, well, how the heck does that happen? Well, number one, as we were pulling into town, I got a call from the surgery center, and it was a 10-minute anesthesiology interview, which I did. And they asked me a bunch of questions and told me what to expect. And it was kind of shocking. They said, this is going to happen a lot faster than you think. The surgery takes 45 minutes. And this was the nurse that's going to be taking care of me. She said, you'll get in there very quickly, 45 minutes, and an hour after, I'm going to be walking you down the hallways back and forth. I want to see you walk at least 150 feet, and then you're going to go home.
That's right. Shockaroony.
Shockaroony. And so we actually had time to drive by the surgery center, and I walked in and introduced myself. So we know the surgery center is. So I'm trying to think of anything else significant that they said. Not really, nothing unexpected.
They would provide you with a walker.
Yeah, they provide me with a walker. There's a machine that I use for blood clots. I guess it squeezes you.
Compression. It's leg compressions to prevent blood clotting.
Okay. And then, so we arrived here 15 minutes early. And so at 10:45, and I think about 5 minutes later, a nurse called us in and answered a bunch of our questions. And Cheryl's going to tell you the answers to all the questions. Then the surgeon came in. So I'm overwhelmed. To her, she's saying, well, it was very straightforward and simple, but I'm emotionally involved, so I'm a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, but it is. Everything's going to go great. So we got answers to the material that they use for the transplant. It's a plastic and titanium. The actual ball joint that goes in the hip is plastic.
Ceramic.
As a ceramic, yeah, not plastic, ceramic. And then the prosthesis is titanium. So we got the answer to that. And the answer to the lifespan of the hip replacement, he said, was 30 plus years. He said the biggest risk to failure would be a fall where you would fracture the hip or infection.
He said that's really rare.
But they're very rare. But those were some things that he covered with us. Let's see. We have all the information on the medications. They're going to tell Rob exactly what medications he will need post-operatively, and they will be ready to pick up at Walmart. Let's see. His pro-time, clotting time was good. The doctor said there's no concerns there. He will place him on aspirin post-operatively to prevent any clotting time. Let's see. Symptoms post-operatively are basically bruising and swelling. And Rob's going to have to really keep his leg up above his heart for a few days, weeks, maybe a couple weeks, using ice to prevent swelling. Those were the biggest post-operative complications.
They did say bruising all the way down to your foot. We were trying to get, for me, what are the things to expect and what are the things to worry about?
Right.
And like bruising all the way to your toes is not worried. He said, don't worry if your leg swells twice the size.
That's right. I remember that when I had my knee replacements. Oh my gosh, my surgery leg was 3 times the size of the other leg for a few weeks. Let's see, how much movement and physical activity. The doctor told him to walk, but no aggressive exercise, just basically walking, like around the camper, and you should get up and move and walk.
And he said go outside.
Go outside. You could go outside and walk. So just normal activity to and from the bathroom and outside and things like that. Let's see.
And I'm coming back on the 3rd.
Yeah, I was going to hit that in a minute. Sorry. Yeah. That's okay. We have a phone number of a contact in case he has any concerns about the wound or any excessive pain or bleeding or anything. They've given him a contact number for after hours to call. And then the good news was that the doctor said he could actually resume driving within 3 weeks if he felt well enough. So
yeah, he said, well, but he'll check me out on.
Okay, yeah, you have a follow-up post-op appointment for April 3rd to come, and he will let you know then what he thinks about you driving and
driving
stuff.
to New Mexico. He said probably I'll have you wear the compression socks on the driving trip,
right?
And get out every hour or two and
stretch.
Walk around for 10 minutes. But he said that should not be a problem driving to New Mexico.
That's right. That's right. And you'll have a dressing covering the wound that will need to be removed.
And he said I could 7 to 10 days. I can remove that myself.
Yes. So I think that does that. I think.
And I have to take showers.
Oh yeah,
for 3 consecutive days.
He's got the desert scum off of him.
yeah, taking a real shower in 3 consecutive days isn't something that I've done since I've been to Pahrump.
It's an antiseptic. It's an antiseptic. What do you call it? Shower soap.
So I'll be going into Main Street Laundry Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to take showers 3 days in a row.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
All right. So we are off to Black Bear Diner. Black Bear Diner. And I'm going to end this video showing you what we get, showing you our food, and that'll be the end of today's video. And remember, this is number 1 in the hip replacement series. And they'll be in a playlist. And so if you're watching this like in the next day, there's only one video. But if you're watching this a year from now, go to the playlist and there'll be a series of videos from starting today through the complete recovery. And he said complete recovery
can be up to 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
But that's like, that doesn't mean I'm going to feel worse than I do now.
No.
It means that I'm going to be completely normal in 3 months.
He said it takes up to 3 months at least for that for the ceramic ball to heal into the joint.
Right. So that put me in April, May, the end of June.
Yeah.
Be July. I should be. So no heavy lifting and stuff until then. But I'm going to feel less pain than I do now, probably in just a few weeks.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So we'll see you at the Black Bear.
Black
Bear Diner. Well, here we are at the Black Bear Diner, as promised. And there's Cheryl shooting the pup camper video that you need to see.
That's right.
And here in this neighborhood, we have Sam's Club is there, In-N-Out Burgers there, and it says Black Bear Diner, feed your inner bear.
Well, we're fixing to feed our inner bear. Oh, sorry.
Look at what they have here.
Well, yeah, because they're right. And then Kai too. And it's our. I don't know about Cheryl. You guys work at class.
All right, so I decided on. I haven't had a club sandwich in forever, and it's a turkey club, and And Cheryl decided to go the distance here, and she's going to have a couple of, I would guess, at least 2, if not 3 meals out of this. Cheryl. We'll have these, what is it, roast beef?
Roast beef with mashed potatoes and gravy, and potatoes, regular potatoes underneath there.
And then a nice side salad and a corn
bread.
muffin.
Corn muffin. I'm going to share mine.
So that's going to be the video for today. I hope you really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed both of us, Cheryl and I, Pop Camper 58. Don't forget to subscribe and watch her her stuff too. But we both love it that you came along with us today. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.